I think that's a great segue to the first segment, right? So when we were planning the session, we were thinking of, how do we integrate a conversation that has both product and ops, right?
Mm,
And the way that we felt it made a lot of sense is when you build these scalable products that have to be used by hundreds of people.
mm,
Also, I mean, sorry, hundreds of thousands of people. Let me be more accurate, right? And oftentimes when products have to be used by sales teams, by field teams, by say some of the more junior people in the organization, then that's something that while it needs to have all its functionality and capabilities, it also needs to fundamentally, it needs to be easy to adopt, it needs to be usable, and all of those things, right?
mm,
So then when we get into this, right, maybe our first question, trying to understand from you, when you talk about designing products that are used by, not just operations teams, but used in scale, let's put it
mm,
that,
mm.
what does usability mean, right? Like you can have something that is usable, which is just good enough, but then that's not going to go viral, not going to get adoption, not
Yeah,
going to have all your competitors copying you within a couple of years because this was just excellent, right? So would
yeah.
love to hear from you. How do you think about usability? How should product managers think about making products
Mm.
usable?
Um, so that there is a saying everything is designed, just that some things are designed really well. What that means is design is inevitable. It's either accidental or incidental. The question that you're asking is how do we do incidental design in such a way that we really, add more meaning and purpose? That's pretty much where you are touching upon, whether it is for operations team or sales team or a tech team. First thing first is we are all human beings first, right? And as a result of it, for the last 1,000 years, from what I know, we haven't changed as a human species. And I don't think we are going to change for another 1,000 years. By then, you and I will be dead, so we don't have to worry about it. But the point is, if we understand the human side of things, the man, human, then making a machine for this man becomes much easier. In one sense, this equation hasn't the 50% of that equation hasn't changed, which kind of leaves me, it's like the 50% of the question paper is kind of released and you can use it for next 1,000 years. And now you just need to adjust the machines accordingly. So that's how I look at it. So whether you're doing it for, say, an ops team or a B2C or a B2B or a B2G or a B2B2C, whatever, right? It's all for human beings is what I would kind of start with. That's my starting point. And if you understand who is really using your product, in the technical terms, we call it as job performers, who are performing the jobs using these products, then the minute we understand that, we will be able to design for them. So that's been the secret sauce in many ways. So if you understand who is using it, how are they using it, why are they using it, the why, what, how, when, all of these things will give you an idea of how to think about designing the product for this person. It is usually for a need or a want or a gap that the user will be able to talk about. But there is one thing the user cannot talk about is the opportunity. For example, none of us went and said to Paytm saying, you should have a scanner like thing and I want to send money like a text. We never said that. That's figuring out the opportunity. So like a Maslow's hierarchy, I have a hierarchy for the experience as well. I call it as a hierarchy of experience just to make sense for myself and for my students. I created it. The the bottommost layer is a creating a functional product. It works. The product works, and then it becomes reliable, and then it becomes durable, and then it becomes convenient, where you are able to save time, energy, all of that good stuff, and then it becomes pleasurable, delightful, and then meaningful, right? So it is on the scale of significance, it keeps increases. So when you're talking about usability, you're really touching on the lower part of this. We are far away from usability, at least in the last decade and a half. We have done excellent work in usability engineering that today, like how I said, we changed printing. In one sense, Apple and Android changed the mobile world. Because of their human interface guidelines, we were able to pretty much create. Today, not all apps suck. Do you agree with me? 90% of them are decent enough because the basis is taken care of. In many, many ways, the usability is taken care of. That's a hygiene factor right now. So that's how I look at it. And attaining usability is like having a check mark saying that, okay, we have delivered a decent product. I think we need to go towards meaning and purpose. There are some products which are extremely meaningful. For example, these are products that you cannot live without. You want, it is an integral part of it. And if I removed it from your life feels a little void, meaningless. Definitely, I can say Amazon is one of them. Today, I don't know how many of us really go into a supermarket and buy all the things. I mean, just check in Amazon. I don't know, somewhere even Instamart is becoming that way in many, many ways. At least if you ask my mother, she will say so. She will turn on the stove and say, oh, I need tomatoes. And then she orders. I mean, that's how we add meaning and significance to people's lives. So when the product is not just usable and it is more meaningful, I think we are definitely moving in that rung. We are, I would say in 2025, we are in this delightful, pleasurable phase, and we need to go above. Usability is 2010 tax.
And Karthi, when you keep that context, right, that we moved much further ahead from usability, that was like a very basic aspect. Products have now become delightful, right? Now, when you're trying to build something at scale and you have a lot of frontline operators, a lot of folks who need to use the product, could you help us understand what that process or a little bit goes like, right? Like, how do you sort of collect feedback? How do you ensure that it shapes the product decisions very directly? Any examples from your career where doing or not doing this has led to good or difficult outcomes in the context of actually building products? Would be fantastic to get some perspective there.
If you're a good designer, you should ideally be a good experimenter, because if you ask a human being, is this what you want? They are usually going to give you signals. They are not going to be able to give definitive answers at all. So if at all you wanted to know if you have built something great, just look at their adoption. I think adoption is a great metric to see if your product is working or not. The problem solution fit is what I'm talking about. Did I solve your problem? Did I, take care of your hunger? When I release a Swiggy, are you, kind of, getting through it? How many people are adopting it? How many times and how many million orders are coming? This is a great way because it's data. Numbers don't lie, and they tell you exactly where you are. So when you are a designer, you need to be, kind of watching for these numbers. How many of them are, for example, a lot of us adopted a few things because they gave us, say, some coins or some, cashback and stuff like that. But once you pull the plug of cashback, are you still using it? And that's a great way to test the retention as well. So if you are like hooked, like this was the flywheel that was needed to hook you into the product, but you're still using it. Google Pay did an amazing job at that, right? And you're kind of hooked. But tomorrow, if Cred gives you a 200 rupee cashback, you are greedy customer, you will move there. And that's how we are. And it is important for you to understand how much are we retaining the customers as well. So that's the second metric that I look for. And whenever you're looking at scale, these numbers kind of tell you what is the size of the market that you have kind of, operating in. In product management terms, we look at the TAM, SAM, SOM. What is your total addressable market? What is your total serviceable market? Or how much are you actually servicing now? These things kind of numbers tell you where you stand. That is why designers need to work very, very closely with product folks so that you kind of get an understanding of these numbers. Now, once you have this idea, you know where things are failing. Oh, the users are coming till a 7-day trial, but after that, they are not going forward. So you kind of try and understand, like, What made you stay for 7 days? Or what made you kind of drop off? What made you remove that app immediately after installing? These are all some amazing things that you can dig deeper and ask a customer in an interview, because they will be able to tell you. And if you notice, you're not talking to millions of customers, you're talking to 10, 12, and then you are designing it for millions. Why? Because 99.9% of human beings are similar, right? And if you are designing for a person, this is why I'm a very big fan of designing for a person rather than a persona. And I don't ask questions like, would you be interested in trying it out? I have never done MVPs where I go and ask this question. I put out the product, I see how many of them are buying it, and I see in the pilot how many of them are adopting it and how many of them are doing it in the second tranche, third tranche. Then you know if you're really getting product market fit. Put the customer in a fix and ask them to pay money for it. Are they willing to exchange value with you? Are they ready to part with their currency for the value that you are giving? If not, you will be fooled, because as human beings, we don't want to be direct. We don't want to hurt the other human being. So what we will say is, would you want this product? Of course. If you just add this feature, I will buy it. And you add this feature and go back to them, they will tell you, I want this feature. And then you add that feature and go back to them, they will say, so don't waste your time. Create a product for this person on the people like this person, and see if it is sticky. It has to start niche, and then only it can go to a repeatable, scalable point. If you start repeatable, scalable, you will fail because you will not know who is the job performer for whom you are actually making the product. Am I making sense? No? Are you able to? And I have done, if a designer comes and says, oh, whatever we did worked, then that's an absolute lie, because whatever we do doesn't work. And to me, I am so proudly sharing my failures, because that's how you learn. That's how you learn what is not working. I do not, there are two types of designers who are, kind of hooked on to green, and there are designers who are hooked on to amber and red. I am the second kind. I'm hooked on to amber and red, continuously learning what is not working. And I can give you thousands of examples for things that did not work. For example, Amazon, we did something called as Amazon Custom. The things that you're printing on your t-shirts, on your mugs, so you can actually customize it. For example, what is happening in the black box, you can actually do it on an Amazon, say a leather, and you are printing Rohit and you're sending it as a personalized gift. As an idea, it's amazing. As a business, we could customize millions, in a day, because there are templates and you just put different names and we are done, right? But it did not work with our customers, because it was so difficult for our customers to figure out how to customize it. They did not understand the difference between customization and personalization. After spending almost $1 million, we shut it down. We said, this is not working, and let us not get into this sunk cost fallacy. Let others do it. There are 1,000 custom sites that can do this for you. This is not Amazon's thing. Let's go and do something else. Similarly, I remember distinctly, we created a glasses, spectacles, Amazon spectacles, right? Today, Lenskart is doing it. But in 2014, 2015, we were trying to see if Amazon can take the prescription and create the lens and kind of ship it to you. We realized that customers, they wanted to check how they look, their face cut, and they wanted somebody to, and they took quite a bit of time to do this, and this needed a lot more personal touch. This is not something, oh, we are able to sell clothing, jeans, so we should be able to sell spectacles. No, we are wrong. So we spent quite a bit of time to create a full-fledged AR, VR model so that if I just scan your face and if I just choose a spectacle, you can kind of, move your head and you will be able to see like this, you'll be able to see your face on it. Fabulous. I thought it will definitely work because you are, but how many times you buy specs in your life?
Hmm.
Really? So I mean, I just picked one example. Like this, I can go into Novartis, I can go into Dr. Reddy's, I can go into $1 billion mistakes as well.
Got it. Understood.